Hi everybody, I hope you're well. I hope you and your families are safe during this time, and yeah, I hope you've managed not to be caping too stir crazy in these couple of weeks isolation. My name is Courttia Newland. Obviously, I'm an author, I'm a novelist, and I'm going to read to you from my forthcoming novel, A River Called Time, which will be published by Canongate in January 7th, 2021. Actually, it was meant to be published August 6th of this year, but for obvious reasons, that can't quite happen. So it's been pushed back to January 7th, where I'm hoping we're going to have like a massive launch party. Anyone who's been to any of my launch parties before know the kind of launch party I like to give. So hopefully we'll be able to do that in the future because I was really looking forward to that. My novel is about an alternate world where slavery didn't happen, colonization didn't happen, and so because of that, African cosmology, African spiritual practice has become the dominant religion. Things like meditation, astral projection, out of body experiences, things like that are just normal, they're commonplace. And this is risen alongside, a really strong technological and scientific push. So there's a huge building in the middle of the capital city of England, which is now called Dinium, and this huge building is called the Ark. And because of climate change and pollution or global pollution, a lot of rich people live indoors in this kind of inner city, as it's called the Ark, which is in the centre of London, and outer city, which is basically outer London, is where all the poor people and the menial workers live. And the menial workers can win an excellence award it's called, and that gives you the right to come into the Ark and live in the Ark, but then you're separated from the outside world. You don't get to see your family and friends anymore. But that's the only way of getting in, is to basically come in and serve the rich elite that live in a city. So all types of topics that are pertinent to what's going on now and our current climate and stuff. And yeah, I just think that it's a really it's going to be a really riveting read for people, and also for myself, just to get into and to write. It was just a lot of fun to write. I really enjoyed putting this book together, and I've been thinking about this book for a long time. I'm going to try to read from the opening chapter, the first chapter, and I'm going to try and do that without being disturbed by my kids. But if you hear any shouting or screaming, hopefully in fun, that's what's going on. So I'm going to just go through it anyway. I probably won't stop. Okay, so this is A River Called Time. Void. Hum. 360 degrees expansion, pervading known and unknown matter. Breath. Existence. Him. The first time he was struck by a spontaneous Nambula, Marcus Denny was 8 years old. Feet pushing hard on pedals, body leaning against handlebars, the wheels of the bike ahead glistening with sunlight. His attention was seized, and for a moment he saw the heavens in that shimmering rotation. He couldn't take his eyes away. There was pain in the centre of his forehead. He was falling from his bike before he knew it. He must have blacked out, because the next thing he knew, he was lying on the pavement, elbows and knees raw, the bike a resting animal a yard or so from where he'd fallen. His friends stood over him. Tashari, Karis, Nesta. Marcus let them wrench him to his feet. Limping back to his fallen metal steed, waving away their concern, their insistence he looked pale. Soon they rode in unison again, creaking gears and turning wheels, a random symphony beneath them. They stopped outside rusting gates. Flakes of orange making the once grand entrance look diseased. Grass and weeds stood as high as their waists. A slight breeze made the strands rustle like a whisper of ghosts. They sat on their bikes, staring at the blighted metal. Silent. Nesta edged forwards, thin bicycle tire nudging the gate. He rolled over crumbled stones, standing and stamping on the pedals to gain more power until he was over the obstruction, inside. They followed, one after another. Marcus, Karis, and Shishari. The skinniest child, always last, lifted his chin towards graffitied walls, brow arched, fearful, more cautious than the others. The building was huge. Not compared to the Ark, of course, though it towered above their heads, 4 stories high. They rode through warped brackets of wooden doors into the main entrance hall, craning their necks to look at the roof. Fallen glass left the dusty brown sky exposed. Their school picture books showed chandeliers and birds wheeling overhead, but the boys saw neither. They got used to being alone, speeding up and down once polished marble floors, performing wheelies and long skids, creating miniature desert storms. When they grew bored, they explored alone. Marcus rode past the closed ticket booths and parades of empty shops to the platforms where sleek grand trains once stood. He left his bike against a marble bench and jumped onto the tracks amongst long grass. Some of the weeds were green strands that looked like wheat. He lay against cool steel, trying to imagine what it must have been like. The olden days. He closed his eyes. The mute disk of sun hadn't moved by much when he woke. Marcus guessed he hadn't been sleeping long. He climbed back onto the platform, studying the multicoloured lines of the Dinium route map, wheeling his bike into the entrance hall. There was no one. He thought they might have left, panicked for a moment, and then he heard voices. Relief made him sag against handlebars. He smiled and hummed a soft tune, wheeling his bike in that direction. An open corridor, doors long ripped away or kicked down, black-edged shadows. He paused, biting his lip. The rectangle of light at the opposite end was small and far. Gloom seeped. Marcus called into the expanse. No answer. Partly, he was glad. The faraway voices of his friends reached beyond dark, spun cotton wisps, distant. He made up his mind, rolling over broken glass and wood, careful into the solid length of night. Daylight seemed consumed by that murky length of corridor. He saw nothing, his own physicality mythical. The only knowledge he existed came from the warmth of his handlebars beneath his fingers, his own harsh breath, the beat inside his chest, hot blood. The corridor smelt musty, damp and old. Marcus could taste the odour. He covered his mouth, pushing with one hand, which made the going even tougher, the floor beneath him thick with dust. He repeatedly bumped his tire against what felt like heavy blocks of concrete. His bike wheel stuck. He pushed again. Still nothing. Again. No luck. He climbed aboard the pedals, resolving to do what Nesta had, stand up and push down hard. There was a moment before he did this when Marcus had an inkling of what was to come. An image of himself and his friends sprinting on bikes, screaming, faces static. Metallic banging from a place he could not find, like a football smashing against a chain-link fence. A chuckling peal of laughter somewhere beyond his peripheral vision. He felt the sound in his stomach, an ache. He snapped back into the moment, back into the dark corridor, sniffing. Urine. His nose wrinkled. Gotta get out of there. He rose to his feet, smashing down with both feet. The roar came from everywhere, echoing, bouncing from unseen walls. He was pushed violently, hitting something sodden yet hard, recovering to wrench the bike around and back the way he'd come, pedalling fast. He heard shuffling behind him, running footsteps and mashed words like a foreign language, obvious curses. He sprinted towards the light, shooting into the entrance hall and screaming for his friends at the top of his lungs, surprised to see them rapid pedaling, until he saw the vagrants behind him. Grimy faces were shining tar. They stumbled and wheezed, trying to run, even though their lungs wouldn't serve them, their clothes in tattered strips, clawing empty air like old slide screen monsters. They chased the boys for yards before they gave up, legs faltering, hands on knees, shaking from rasping explosions of lengthy coughs. Marcus caught sight of one over his shoulder, the vagrant lying in dust, spotlit by shards of light from the broken ceiling, shuddering as though undergoing a Greek fit. He turned away, sprinting harder. They directed their bikes towards the gates. Tashari, Karis, Marcus, cheeks and foreheads damp with effort, tendons thick in their arms. Far from the art station, almost 2 blocks away, they realised. I thought he was with you, Marcus screamed over the handlebars. Karis trembled, sweat gluing baby-corn hair to his forehead. Don't shout at him, we all went off on our own. Tashari's neck stretched taut, tendons protruding, a late entry to any argument, as was his way. No one dared go back. They waited a heart-wrenching 15 minutes before Nesta returned, shoulders hunched, riding slow. Rah, smiling when he saw their surprise, their worry. It angered Marcus, though he said nothing. You lot was scared, right? You should have hid. They got sickness. They can't hurt you. An ice cream truck a few blocks from the art station, the young vendor leaning on his counter, tattooed and bored. A dig for change, joy from Karis and Tashari, echoed in miniature by Marcus and Nesta. The joyful bought whipped ice cream cones, slow melting vanilla, the sombre orange and lemon ice poles that bled sweet juice. They rolled their bites towards a grass verge behind the truck, to a bench where they could sit. You lot never seen a sickie before, yeah? Nesta looked at his ice pole, watching faces. My uncle had it. He died. Only took 3 months. I was there. Tashari, the only boy still mounted, rocked his bike back and forth, eyes cast at the pavement. My cousin had it. He died, but I wasn't there. My parents wouldn't let me see him. He was old anyway. My dad don't believe in sickness, Karis piped up. So what do you think killed him? Nesta, leaping to his feet, waving the pole. Orange spatters flew. The youths backed off. Dunno. Maybe cancer? Tashari's offering limp. Useless. You don't catch cancer, so it can't be. Marcus, sitting high on the verge, lost interest. He stared across the street at a broken building wedged between the one credit store and a shop called Mama's Day that sold maternity wear. A sliver of storefront lit by red fluorescent lights placed above an awning to form letters, the letters creating words. Temple of Sebek the Measurer. Twin symbols, 3 circles placed inside each other, housing a small triangle, bookending the title. Men and women clothed in long white robes drifted in and out, holding thin black books to their chests. A sign was placed on the pavement, green chalk on blackboard, imploring passers-by to find the netta within. Join us in worship. 11 to 3, 6 to 10. All welcome. His mother, Willow, called them Cushites, or Nubians like herself. Some noticed the ice cream truck and crossed the quiet road. Marcus didn't want to stare, but he was fascinated. A man, broad in his cheap suit, smiled as he bought a cone for his pebble-headed son. Marcus' lips twitched. He looked away, caught. Willow didn't go to temple, though she had a shrine in her pod room. She believed in Netta, not religion. He wasn't quite sure how his mother separated the two, but never had the courage to ask. Marcus considered himself lucky that she didn't force him to pray twice daily, like his friends whose parents were Illa, Nandi, Yoruba, Abaluya. He lifted his head, searching beyond the ice cream truck, the temple and its followers. Above, the skyline undulated in frosted brown haze, a dirty smudge that stained the horizon. And that's it. This is the first time I've read some of those bits, so yeah, I'm gonna take some time to practice a little bit more on some of them. But that's the book as it stands. So far, it's also a proof copy, so a lot of things have been changed and stuff, and we've worked on it quite a bit since that was printed. But yeah, that's the novel, and I'm extremely proud of it, and I'm glad you guys got to hear a little bit of it. And it's out January the 7th, 2021. So thanks very much.